mean, it might be here for some people already. It's funny because people like to tell you what to do with your money, and it's something where it's like, oh, you should start an LLC. You should do this. You should do that. But the thing about it is that that like the reason why the stimulus even exists is well, not. I mean, at least initially, was because people needed money. Man, they like millions of people lost their jobs over the last year or so. So it's not like people are over here like, oh, this is extra. I mean, for some people, bless their heart, it is extra money for some people. But for some people, for most people, I'd say the vast majority of people, this stimulus check is a way to catch up on bills, catch up on your rent, catch up on this, catch up on that, etc. So forth. So, yes, if you do have the expendable money, sure, go ahead and, post, get your LLC up and all that stuff and do all that. But don't let the pressure of the internet get to you. Don't sit here and be like, oh, I gotta get an LLC because Jerron Agner made a post about LLCs a week ago. It's too much pressure, y'all. Too much pressure. Too much pressure. Anyways, this is your boy, Jerron Agner, back again with another live stream video. This is actually my Facebook live stream show. But as you can see, we're not on Facebook right now. We're on YouTube. And the reason why is because I posted a meme a while back that people did not like. It was about Papa John's. I'm not going to tell you what the meme is. I'm not going to really get into it. But because of this meme, I am no longer able to go live, at least for the next 60 days. So we're trying some new things out. We're trying new channels. We're trying to revive the YouTube thing. I kind of have fallen back on YouTube. So, we're trying to get back to it. For those of you who don't know me, for people who will be watching this, Jerron Agner, multimedia artist, specialized in all things media, including live stream videos, apparently. And the idea is that we're here to share some knowledge, talk, shop, spit, gossip, maybe give you some insight for artists that help. This is kind of like a combination of all my previous live shows. For those of you who are familiar with me, I did have shows including The Heat Check, which reviewed music. I had The Air Out, which is more like a news channel for media and entertainment. Also, I had Morning Motivation, which is basically where I hopped on here and gave you guys motivational words and speaking. I had all these different shows. This live stream originally kind of stemmed around my film, The Bond. And we are actually almost done with The Bond now, so I'm no longer in need of hitting you guys up. But originally we started this live stream show to convince you guys to give us money. We were able to raise like almost $8,000 through these live stream videos and other forms of content that allowed us to make our film, The Bond. The Bond is almost done. We only have a couple more days of shooting, thank God, and we're very, very close to finishing this up and wrapping it up. And now it's partly because of videos like these where we go live, entertain you all, and convince you guys that I'm a decent guy. And you should give me money. But we're not doing that anymore. Now we're just doing this for fun because I like going live. This is how I kind of start my day, is that I like to just kind of talk. I talk a lot, if you let me. And so I'll hop on here and just kind of spit some gospel and just kind of speak on things that may or may not help you. And if it does, it doesn't, and whatever. No. Anyway, so today I want to talk about Grammys because that's a hot topic. People are upset because Megan Thee Stallion and yada 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 and this and Cardi B and Nas. Some people were upset that Nas won a Grammy. Some people are very happy that Nas won a Grammy. But the thing about that, and if you go on my Facebook page, Jerron Agner, you will see my conversation about Nas in regards to him winning a Grammy, is that this year in particular is what I like to call the pandemic Grammy year, because it's almost like an asterisk to the Grammys, because pandemic, big old asterisk. That pandemic shut down a lot of rollouts from a lot of major artists, including Kendrick Lamar, Drake, so many artists. Probably every single major artist that you could think of that was planning on dropping in 2020 did not drop because of the pandemic, which is natural and makes a lot of sense. So when you flash forward to these Grammys, what winds up happening is that begin to realize that the talent pool for this year's Grammys was a little shallow. Not to knock on any of the artists, you know, all the nominees deserve their nominations, but there wasn't any really big like major releases besides two artists. And one of them didn't even get nominated, and now he's not even messing with the Grammys. I'm talking about The Weeknd. The Weeknd completely bodied 2020. Had a number one, like one of the longest running number one singles of all time in the history of number one singles. He had one of the best rollouts I've seen in years, and he did numbers, but he did not get nominated for a Grammy. And the question is, why? Well. Let me tell you why. First of all, when it comes to The Weeknd, he was told by his label, at least this is all reportedly and allegedly, he was told by his record label not to release his album after hours, and to push back the release of his album and to, ice his whole rollout while they figured out the pandemic, etc. so forth. Weeknd said, F that, I'm still gonna go, and he did a crazy rollout, dropped multiple videos, had this whole universe that he created, did amazing world building, which I'm a massive fan of. I already was a fan of The Weeknd, but this rollout, not even the album itself, but the rollout of this album was remarkable. Remarkable. One of the best rollouts I've seen in years. And the world responded to this album very, very well. As I said before, he had multiple hit number one top 10 singles. He had great videos, great response, great aesthetic, all the things necessary to be a top tier Grammy nominated artist. Probably did it the best this year besides Justin Bieber, who's the other artist, but I'll get into him later. The problem with this is that he figured out something that the labels could not, or at least weren't willing to yet. And because of this factor, he basically pissed everybody off. He got his bag and he got in and he was able to do his thing. And the thing about it is that, especially nowadays with the streaming industry, et cetera, so forth, record labels aren't making money right now off of streaming. It's just not a lucrative industry like that. Yeah, I mean, you might hear about Drake doing 20 billion streams or whatever last week. But if you do the math on that, and then you break down how that money is being allocated, and also the fact that it's slow money, it's not like money that's popping in your account the next day. Streams and mechanical rights and all that stuff take months to get money. But you break it down, that take home after all that is not as much as people think it is. So when the pandemic hit, record labels started panicking because they make most of their money off of touring. They make their money off of ticket sales, merchandise, especially if these artists are signing the 360 deals. The majority of the bag comes from touring. And if you're the biggest artist out, you got to be on the road. And The Weeknd was like, I'm still going to drop this album and not tour and still just make it happen. He was doing TikTok concerts and stuff like that. Did the Super Bowl, obviously. But he wasn't able to tour, which means that he basically busted his nut on this album to the fans and the public. And from a record label's perspective, it's like, oh man, we're not going to be able to cash out on that immediately from the tours. And by the time we do get him on the road, the music's going to already be stale. And that's why the record labels were upset with him, because basically The Weeknd was, he put out all the energy before he can go. Now he's about to go on tour, right? He announced a 200 date, something crazy. He's doing mad shows next year. And to me, that's the record labels being like, bro, you owe us. You got to go get all that money that we gave to you for your stuff. You got to go recoup that, bro. Get on the road. Get on the road. And he has to go do it. And he's going to make money too, obviously. But in the grand scheme of things, that's why he didn't get the Grammy. He wasn't supposed to be out there doing what he did. He's out there changing the game and basically creating a new blueprint for artists like him. And the labels didn't like that. So when it came Grammy time, the Grammys were like, nah, fam, we're not messing with that. Yeah, you had the number one album of the year, but nah. Sorry. Justin Bieber, kind of same thing. Same deal. Now, I think Justin Bieber did pull in a couple of nominations. I have to actually look, but Same situation where Justin Bieber basically went against the grain and decided to push his album all year, dropped multiple mass hit singles, but no touring. No touring, no bag. Record labels do not like that. You take the money away from them, things get changed. So, after that whole setup, you look at the Grammy pool right now, and it's very, very shallow because all these major artists are not able to recoup their money off of touring. And at the end of the day, the Grammys are a business. Yes, it is a situation where it's accolades for artists, et cetera, so forth, and people can, show love to each other. But at the end of the day, it's still a business. If you look up the history of award shows and why award shows exist in the first place, the main purpose of award shows were to sell commercials for TV shows, for TV channels. And the short of it was that, like, oh, if we get all these people together in the same room, all your favorite celebrities, and we give them awards and have them come up and watch TV, and then we throw ads in between these acceptance speeches, y'all will watch that and we can make a bag. That's how award shows existed. Now, the concept of getting awards, yes, that existed before what I just said. But the award shows themselves, when you see Cardi B twerking on a pole and all that, that stemmed for the sole purpose of it's a business. It's about making bags and making money. So when it comes down to the award shows and the Grammys and et cetera and so forth, the bottom line is how much money these labels, these record sales, and all these people are going to make. Now, there's also the phenomenon known as the Grammy boost, right? If you win record of the year or album of the year, next week your music shoots up to like 5,000% in streams or something crazy like that, and you usually blow up. That's usually how it happens. It happens for usually every single artist that wins an award at Grammy. The next day, the streams go up significantly. So there's always an incentive to be nominated for a Grammy. But a lot of these top tier artists are figuring out, or they've already figured out, that it's all just to sell commercials. They want Kanye West to come up there and give a speech because Kanye West will bring people in that will sell them, that'll let them sell commercials in between the speeches. That simple. But at the same time, you want that love, right? Because the Grammy organization is consisting of their peers. Typically speaking, you as an artist can hop on and sign up for the Grammy committee right now. You have to have some co-signs from some people, of course. You have to be able to prove your accolades, at least your work in the industry in terms of releases and stuff like that. I think it costs like $100 a year, something like that, give or take. I don't know. I've been trying to get in the Grammy industry, but I haven't fucking actually pursued that wholeheartedly. Anyways, I digress. But yeah, anybody can get into the Grammy industry if you have Grammy Grammy types. I can't talk straight. If you have musical industry clout, you can get in the Grammy industry, the committee. And when you're on the committee, basically how it works is that it's broken up into different sections across the country. You have like the LA sector, and then there's like a New York sector, and chapters, I should call them. And then each chapter has a captain or a leader or the head of each chapter. And the process is that, let's say that I want to get nominated for a Grammy. I'm like, all right, bet. I go to the website. If you're a member of the Grammy committee, you get to submit your music for free. Fun fact. So there's incentive to sign up for the Grammy committee because even though it costs $100, that fee covers your submission to the Grammy. You get one submission per artist, I think, when you submit. So there's incentive to do that. But if you aren't a part of the Grammy committee, you can still submit to the Grammys. I don't know exactly how much it costs. I want to say it's around the same amount, like $125, something like that. And when you do this, it goes into a pool of like a voting pool, basically, and there's like hundreds, if not thousands, of albums that are put into the Grammy consideration pool, and they're broken up into different categories and so forth. And then these categories are sent to different chapters across the world or the country, and then the members of the chapters, they hop on there and they vote. The ones with the highest votes, they move up, yada yada. Seems like a pretty fair process for the most part, but, and I'm going to expose a couple of things without getting too deep. This is where the bag matters, because you're basically marketing. You have to put a lot of marketing into getting your album out, especially if you're like a lesser artist and you're going for what are like the more lesser known categories. Best new artist is a good example. Very well known category, but there's a lot of new artists out there who want to be in that category, um, unless you dominate the year. But you have to kind of show yourself a little bit to people and be like hit up all these chapters and hit up people involved in Grammy committees and be like, hey, have you listened to my music? It's just like marketing your music now before you begin the Grammys. There's a whole process and money involved that gets you into that conversation, basically. Now, if you were a nobody trying to do all this, the chances of you actually being nominated off of just the greatness of your album is very, 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 very low. You gotta know people, you gotta be able to shill the bag and make it happen. So if you have dreams of being being nominated for a Grammy, you gotta kind of get a team. It's really damn near impossible to just have a really great album, throw it up on the Grammy site, and then get nominated for Grammy. It's not gonna happen that way. It might, I'm not discounting you, but there has to be some type of receipts and clout behind that. Do you have a hit single? Do you have something around that album that makes it interesting where people even know about it? It's not just gonna be you. I made this in my room, my house, and then I threw it up on the internet, and then I won a Grammy. In a perfect world, but not this world. I digress. So there's a whole process behind this. So when you look at the pandemic, right, it changed so many things in terms of how this process worked. One, artists weren't able to necessarily go out there and just like show their music anymore because you can't really go out as much these days. Because, and when I say go out, like people would pull up on members of the chapters and like hand them stuff or like mail them stuff and like be like, hey, listen to my stuff. Like it's a whole campaign. It's not like just like an email. Like it's like you gotta convince these people to vote for your crap. So there's a whole process. So that the pandemic alone iced all that. And so what ended up happening is basically like what I saw with the Grammys this year in terms of most of the nominees, it was like kind of like viral sensations, like who was the most viral. Sans The Weeknd. Kind of wild. And that's why Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion were performing, because they took, and this is basically a whole different video. I don't think I have time to finish this, but they basically attacked the one thing, or one of the few things that humans inherently need and still have access to, and that is sex and sexual related things. I'm saying that the fact that WAP embodied this 1-2 combo of feminine energy, pow pow, boobs and butts everywhere, that's what really propelled that. And you guys can argue this all day. I'm not going to sit here and talk about the quality of WAP or the quality of body, because those are y'all's opinions. I personally don't like those songs. Not necessarily because of the quality of said songs in terms of productions and beats and all that stuff, but rather the message behind the songs, and then the hypocrisy behind how we treat those songs. It's a whole thing. Maybe I'll save it for another video, but not this one. Stay tuned. Moving on, because we're already at the halfway point. I could talk about the Grammys all day, but I'm not. Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. I want to talk about evergreen content versus vanity content. This is basically more of artistic / marketing strategy, especially for YouTube. Especially since we're on YouTube and people are watching this on YouTube, we figure we talk about YouTube related stuff. Ha, pow. Anyways, what is evergreen content versus vanity content? I've been thinking about this topic a lot. As I start to get back into YouTube and what that means for the content I try to produce. Evergreen content, by definition, is content that is sustainable, but be sustainable basically forever. There's no expiration date on it. It's content that everybody wants, everybody needs, right? The simplest form of evergreen content is tutorial videos. How to do this. What is a DA? How anything that really involves a question is a good example of evergreen content. On my other page, Draw Magner, I have a video that actually is doing pretty well. I think it's about to cross 4,000 views. And I did some really deep research as to why this video was being so successful. I was like, wow, this is doing a lot better than all the other videos I put out. And so I paid attention to what I titled it, and I paid attention to the tags I used, and I paid attention to all that information, that data that they give you. which is why it's there. All the analytics on your YouTube Studio is there for a reason, because they tell you who's watching your stuff and why they're watching your stuff. And if you're smart about it and you look at those demographics, those are the demographics that you should be targeting when moving forward in your content. So when it comes down to the particular video, the video is called "What is a Multimedia Artist and How to Make Money from It." If you Google that phrase, "What is a multimedia artist?" I'm pretty sure that my video is one of the first videos that pop up across the internet, period. What is a multimedia artist? Hold on. What is a multimedia artist? Yes, if you go here and you go to videos, you will see. Oh no, it's not there anymore. It used to be there. I lied. It's on YouTube. The point is that when I check my analytics on this particular, actually, I know what it is. How to make money as a multimedia artist. Aha. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, if you go on YouTube and you click that in, my video is one of the top videos on there. And the reason for that is because it's a question that a lot of people like me are probably trying to ask. What is a multimedia artist? How can I make an artist money from that? And that's an example of evergreen content. This is content that people will continually look for. And like I said, tutorial videos are the simplest form of this. But when you spin this into an artist narrative, like how does an artist make evergreen content? I mean, that's probably the simplest way is tutorial videos. Like if you're a producer, if you're an engineer, then you put out videos about how to do certain stuff. Like how did I mix this song down, or how did I write this song, or how did I do that? That's the easiest way to do that. If you follow that path and you keep it very general, you will probably see some pretty successful results in terms of people just looking for new answers. I spend a lot of time on YouTube, especially when it comes to film and TV, just spending time looking up film stuff. And I'll look up certain stuff over and over again because I know that people are uploading new content all the time, new techniques, new styles, etc., so forth. So knowing that avenue and that range is very important in terms of getting to where you want to be at. Artistically speaking, when it comes to your art, and this is where we get to that fine line of the other side of this, which is a vanity project. And this is going to be harsh for people hearing this, but most, especially on a local level or like an independent level, most music videos and the like are considered to be vanity projects. And what is a vanity project? Well, to me, a vanity project is basically a video that doesn't have much artistic merit behind it, doesn't have any type of replay value in the grand scheme of things, and doesn't have any type of offering to the culture, doesn't push the culture. Now, all the things I said get weird if you really break this down, because I have an evergreen artistic video on this very page. If you go to it, it says the top page on there is Kanye West. I took a Kanye West song and I found this on the internet and it had an open verse on it. I threw my verse on it and it's on there. This song continuously gets maybe about 200, 300 views a week. On average, I think right now it's sitting maybe close to 8,000. No, it's at 7,000 views right now. Okay. But this song continually gets views. The reason why is because this is an example of an evergreen artistic piece of content. This is a rare Kanye West song. It's a song that isn't like on one of his major songs or anything like that, because if it was, it would have got flagged, obviously. But it's something that his large fan base will continually look for forever until he releases this song, which he will not. People will look for this song, this particular song, if you're a hardcore Kanye West fan, forever and ever and ever. And that's kind of the point that I'm trying to make, is that if the art is good and it's offering something to the culture and offering something with significant impact that has merit, like Kanye West, one of the most famous artists of our time, then you're creating evergreen content. It's something that people will want to come back to. And you can do this on a local level. If you have a good song that people like and you make a good video for it, that's evergreen content. but you have to put thought into it. It's not as simple as just being like, oh, I got this song that snaps, I'm gonna make this video that snaps, I'm gonna throw it up there. There has to be some type of significance to make that video pop in a sense where it connects with people. I look at most of my videos right now on my Starstruck page, and most of my videos consist of reviews of music. And even with these songs, like one of my most successful videos on here is a reaction to Eminem's album Revival, right? Sitting at 23,000 views. When I dropped that video, it went low-key viral, quote unquote. And most of those 23,000 views were accumulated in the first week of the album being released. After that, the numbers fell off dramatically. Why? Because no one cared about the album anymore, and it's not something that someone's going to continually look up. There's not going to be a random person waking up and being like, I need to review Eminem. Them saying, like, it's not something that happens. So that's not evergreen content. That's more on the vanity / informative side of things. Another video that I have on here is another Kanye West related video, is Kanye West's speech that he gave when he was running for president. I have the whole speech on there. At this point, I think it's sitting at let's see, it's at almost 5,000 views. The reason why, part of the reason why, is because of the fact that that's example of evergreen content. People are gonna try and find that forever, for the remaining life of time, because that's like a kind of a moment in history in hip hop, and people are gonna try to reference it for different things, whether it's just like trying to hear it again or samples, etc., so forth. It's something that has artistic merit and adds something to the cultural pot. Your particular rap song might not have the same thing, even on a microcosm scale, like even on a local scale, it might not have the same impact. So these are things that you have to consider. I just re-released my album, The Life and Death of Bleezy Dangerfield, which is part of a campaign that I'm about to do where I re-release a lot of my music that I put out over the last year under the name Black One, when I was going by Black One, etc., and so forth. But part of the reason why I decided to do this was because of the fact that people were asking me, like hitting me up, saying, yo, where is that No Respect song that you did? That song No Respect that you used to do all the time, that had the video, etc., and so forth. Where's that song? And I said, yo, I took that shit down. I took it down, like, no. After I go, no, just took it down. No, it's just not there anymore. And they're like, yo, could you put it back up? So there's a demand for that, right? So it's not necessarily evergreen, but it's more evergreen than like me just doing a random video for a random song. Because if I do a random video for a random song, there might not be a demand for that song. So people aren't going to want to care about the video as much as there's not a demand for it. So you kind of have to have a little bit more insight in terms of your strategy, in terms of how you're going to put music out there. Like, you might have a song on your album that you might think is a jam, right? Like, oh man, this is the one, this is the bop. I'm going to make a video for this. This is going to bop everywhere. Bippity bop, bop, bop. Bop is a new phrase that people are using, this old phrase that we're bringing back. It's a cycle thing. Anyways, so you drop your bop, but then when your album comes out, somebody else is like, yo, this song over here, this is a bop bop. Or this is a one bop, but this is a double bop. This is a bop bop. This is the one. And so, because you didn't put all your money in this video, you kind of, now you're like piecing together this video because people want it, right? But if you go into your music when you have an album and you sit down, you actually listen to your songs, you get feedback from a bunch of people, a wide range of people, not just like people who are involved in the project, but people who are also not involved in the project, who have no idea how music works. They just like music. Get their feedback too. Find the songs that work better, and find interesting ways to make it evergreen, because this is where the creativeness comes in. If you're smart about it, there's ways that you can turn your music video into evergreen content, but it has to be content that makes an impact, that has a cultural feel to it, and a cultural significance is the word I've been looking for this entire time. Significance. But a lot of you guys are smart. You guys have figured it out. Maybe, maybe not. But I do know that I appreciate you guys watching these videos, and hopefully we will probably be back again with more of these live streams. As I said before, Facebook, I prefer to go live on Facebook because that's where most of my fans at. I got the infrastructure intact with the pops and the clicks. It's very easy for me. YouTube is more of a newer thing. Not newer. I've gone live before, but it's not. I'm not a fan of it because the network is much more contained. Even though there's a share button here, it's not as cool, right? So for the next 60 days, until Facebook unlocks my account, I will be going live on YouTube, which is good because I really need to build up anyways. The movie's almost done. We got a lot of cool stuff in the works. So yeah, thank you guys for watching these videos. Yeah, that's it. Peace out, y'all. Woo. Oh wait, I'm back. Haha, psych. I was gonna do the typical YouTube stuff that people say at the end of YouTube videos. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow the video. Go to my website, JerronAgner.com. Share the video if you heard something that you like, because you know that goes a long way with me. You know what I'm saying? You dig. It's your boy, Jerron Agner, back again. See you guys soon. That was a better ending. Later.